Simple way to think about it. If you're a first on defense, your job is to get the ball out, to clear the ball, to transition. If you are a second man on offense or defense, your job is to follow up and support your first man with whatever decision they make. You are a mirror of their decision making. And if you're a third man on defense, your job is to wait until the ball moves up the field. That doesn't mean you literally need to sit at the back post until the ball gets past the midfield line. You could cohesively move up with the play, but your job is Diamond 3, Champ 1. Let's get it. It's a good challenge, good beat. Good patience, Will. All G, all G. We'll let this play. Totally fine. We've just been low boost. Get your boost. And that's the Rocket League script, right? The second you get your boost is that happens. Yeah, I feel like we're a little pushy. The boost is the biggest thing that's bugging me because it's limiting what we can do on the field. We push this play, and yes, we're in a decent position, but like our major role right here is to force a player. Can't really do that with 12 boost. I'd rather see us peel back, play backboard. This is like the pushiness. It's almost like we're just a little too risky with our boost, and we're almost like playing for that midfield boost spawn, but super risky. I want to look at boost, man. I know it's boring. Very good. Like, we're always left with 0. And then, like, you see how you're pushing? Still, like, you're maintaining an offensive rotation. Which, in theory, if you had 100 boost right now, I would say you're in a perfect position to hold pressure as a third. But you have none. And what I want to look at is, are we just having poor boost management? Are we making decisions to position aggressively when we have low boost? Are we taking unnecessary challenges that leave us with low boost? Or are we constantly rotating on the ball side so that we can't get the boost on the opposite side of the field, which is typically where all the boost is? Are we not tracking our pads? As simple as that can be. So that's what I want to think about, is why are we low boost? It's like the cold hard truth about this. It's like, yeah, you're in a good position, but you can't do anything unless the ball magically falls in your lap and you could shoot it. And that's saying that all 3 opponents can't save it, which means that your shot must be really good. Like, you're relying way too heavily on a very specific situation to happen. And it's almost like I want you to position and rotate for broader, more generalized situations. Like, I like that we got boost right here. I know, like, there's this meme in the Rocket League community, like, boost over ball. Teammates will say that when you leave boost and you leave for boost and you should have played the ball. But, like, no joke, boost over ball. Like, if you go to play the ball and you have no boost, you're just going to throw the ball away. But obviously you shouldn't be leaving a rotation either. Because, like, this whole play, like, we should be getting scored on. Like, why are we low boost right here? We're missing pads. And we're staying way too tight in the midfield, and we're missing pads. So it's like we're in a good position, but we have no boost. Yeah, I mean, out of sync is a great way to describe it. But you're out of sync because you're constantly in a position with low boost, and you're not reading the play properly. And it's one thing to address a problem like that, but you got to think about, like, okay, what is the applicational advice? And That's what I'm still thinking about. I'm still trying to see like what the specific thing that is breaking down. Good. Very good. Mechanics look good. So like that's a positive, Will. Not mechanical problems. It's more of the game sensey, positioning, momentum, speed, which seems to be a common theme. Might be the Rocket League bad habit. We're just... Because what it is, we position in the midfield extremely aggressively with low momentum and very little boost. Right? So like you're 30 boost right now. You're 43 boost right now. We are playing a third man. You know, like one person can cover this entire zone. So like the spacing isn't there across the team. But like you're playing you're third. Right? So like maybe like that's a cool indirect way to tackle this is maybe we're getting confused about roles and rotation. Right? Because if this player dribbles, you could play it, he could play it, or he could play it. But okay, like if he plays it, is he the follow-up? Are you the follow-up? If he's the follow-up, who's back? Like, I wonder if we can kind of go down a role and rotation route to kind of indirectly solve this. I do still think, I almost feel like that's the route. When we position very aggressively, it's because we're confused on, am I playing a second man? Am I playing a first man? Am I a third man? Because the problem is we position extremely aggressively with not a lot of momentum and not a lot of boost. So we are a first. Now we are going to become a third eventually. So let me kind of talk through roles and rotation. There's not really a fancy way to go about this, man. But I might be able to stumble across something that might be not game-changing, but like a clicking moment. But let me talk through roles and rotation with you. Okay? I think that will be, like, it will help me identify the confusion, but also, because role and rotation is easy, meaning eventually as you start playing this game more and more and more, I know you play this game a lot, but like, it's kind of this background process running in your head where it's like, okay, I go, he go, I go, he go. Right? And Faces, thank you for the 7th month resub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Let's talk through roles and rotation. I think this is a fun way to indirectly solve the problem. All right, we're first. Now we're a third. Right? We're a third. Yet we turned as a second, right? Right? So look, like, okay, we could be a first if we play it. Okay, teammate plays it. We have no boost. So 1 to 3, right? If you had 100 boost right now, you could cut as the second man, but you have no boost, so third man. Yet what we do is we play aggressively as a third man, but you have no boost. Just rotate out. All right, so we're a second man. We're still positioning very, very aggressively. Now our teammate got demoed, so we are a first. All right, we did our job as a first, right? Your job as a first is pretty simple. Get the ball out of defense. If you're on offense, force the offense, meaning force a player to throw the ball away. There's a lot of different jobs as a first, but in this situation, that's what it is. So, we forced. You have two options. You want to be aggressive, rotate forward, look for your bumps, and then become a third. You want to be defensive, push back, become a third. And if you had more boost, you could push back and fill as a second man, but you have no boost. So you're either going to go up the field to track pads, rotate across, or back down to track pads and retake a position on the goal line, backboard, whatever it is. So we make kind of a mix of the two, right? We push forward and then we go back. We become a third, right? So defensive. Good. All right. So we could either be a third or a second right now, but it depends on what this player does. this is clearly the first, right? And what this player does, he cuts in front. So we are going to take a third at the back post. You could always also go backboard. All right. Teammates still playing a second, so we're third. Yet what we do, we start creeping forward, which is an option, but it depends on what this dude does, because the unfortunate thing about second man is second man can't see anything, right? And I didn't just coincidentally guess that he can't see you. You need to understand POVs when it comes to role and rotation. Second man has the most important role in rotation, you know, save the ball, keep pressure, everything. But they also have the worst POV because they are centrally positioned, and you would think a central position between roles and rotation is good, but like you can't see the dude behind you. You can see the play in front. So it's your job to stay back and wait to see what this player does. All right. Now we could barely see him. And what it's coming down to is when I work with higher level teams, I will say you guys are doubling because that's what you guys are doing. You guys are double committing, not for the ball, but for role and rotation. Both players are a second man. We can't have that. That's inefficient. I really would like to see you play back post, which is very basic, but now he goes. We're third right now. Why are we a third? Because this homie pushed up. Now, if this ball goes perfect in the midfield, you could totally play it, and I think that's what we do, and that's what you do, and that's totally fine. I'm fine with this. We played the ball. Now we're going to be a third. We were a first. Rotate out, rotate out. We are a third, but you have no boost. Your main job as a third man is to hold pressure and not get scored on. You have no boost. You can't hold pressure. High chance you're getting scored on when you have no boost. So what you can do is over-rotate to get boost and play a deep third. Or if you want to be aggressive, just track this pad rotation, which is 0, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, maybe 72. And you could just track a little baby pad rotation and be holding pressure aggressively as a third. But we just like don't track those pads, which is why I've been talking about pad rotations. But I want to kind of talk about role and rotations as an indirect way to solve it, because I think that is actually the root. We are getting confused on what role we are supposed to play. And playing a role and rotation, I mean, sometimes you got to do the dirty work when you're low boost, but you keep putting yourself in situations when you have no boost, and it's just awkward. So, we are going to be a third, right? We are going to be a third. And you want to creep, and if this player rotates out, creep as a second. But your decision is based on this player's decision, okay? It's totally based on this dude. Let's see what that dude does. Okay, so he rotates back and becomes a third. So now you are a second, right? This is your play, right? And that's what we do. So, like, the game sense is there. You force, good. So now, stay back. You're going to take a third. Beautiful. And it's like, what's happening, it's like your risk is getting confused, where it's like, okay, you're a third. If your team is moving the ball up the field and you have control, your job as a third is to cohesively move with the play and hold pressure. But the key thing missing from this play is control. There's no control over this situation. So it's better for you to play defensive. And this is all game sense, and it takes a while to learn. But what I see happening is, like, we're confusing roles in rotation. Are we a first, second, or third? And we're also confusing the roles for each role in rotation. Keep it super simple at like a Diamond 3 champion level. If you're a third in a defensive rotation, your sole job is to not get scored on. So we're just playing a little bit risky. And if you're a third in an offensive rotation, your sole job is to not let the ball go behind you, aka hold pressure. Now we're going to be a third. right? So if your team has control and you're moving the ball up the field, we are a third. Our job's to hold pressure. Yet we push super aggressively into second, and this is the, yes, it's fine, but this is the POV. Your second man, who was the second man, can't see you become a second man. So now he sees you just cut him, right? You just came out of nowhere. Bang. And it looked really, really nice from your POV, right? From your POV, it's like, oh, dude, I'm cutting a second. I'm going to go swing in for this hook shot. But then from your other second mans, right? We have two second mans. We have two people playing the mid pass. And now your team loses pressure because we're getting roll and rotation confused. And yes, I want you to be aggressive and I want you to, you know, like be in every single play. But what we need to do is simplify kind of our roles in rotation to where you're on defense, you're playing a third, back post, backboard. Your job's not to get scored on. It's to move the ball up the field with your team. You're playing a third in an offensive rotation. Your job is to hold pressure. You don't have to be stacked behind a teammate, but just like you want to be around here. Around here. And that's where I'd leave this replay. Really try to simplify your decision making on the field and follow the guideline of if you don't have boost, go get boost. And track your small pads. And that's why I'd leave this replay. That was good. So, like, we're first, and we were just a first, and you could play aggressive and push for this mid if you want to. But now we're a first, and it's like we're a first. Our job as a first is to get the ball up the field, so we're playing like a cut rotation extension. I mean, and it works, but it's so risky. And I almost want us to take a very traditional approach to rotation, to roles in rotation, try to reduce these mistakes before we work on cut rotation. Because what you're really doing is you're cutting a lot, but it's leading into a lot of mistakes. Simple way to think about it, if you're a first on defense, your job is to get the ball out, to clear the ball, to transition. If you are a second man on offense or defense, your job is to follow up and support your first man with whatever decision they make. You are a mirror of their decision making. And if you're a third man on defense, your job is to wait until the ball moves up the field. That doesn't mean you literally need to sit at the back post until the ball gets past the midfield line. You could cohesively move up with the play, but your job is, if the first and the second man get beat, you cannot let that ball go over your head. You need to wait for control to happen, and like this waiting can build, but like we'll build on that in the future. Like there's a lot of ways to transition. There's a lot of ways to hold pressure. But overall, your job as a third on defense is wait to see if your teammates actually get their jobs done, which is first, get the ball up the field. Second, follow up the first. And you're just kind of that anchor. You're that support. And that's what you do in an offensive rotation. But instead of doing it back here in this zone right here, you're doing that support right here. Right? That's where you're supporting. So you're kind of just shifting your position. It's either support here or support here. We'll build on this, I promise. I'm hoping this could be the way to tackle this. Because I've talked about speed, momentum, positioning, boost management with you, and it's not that it's not clicking, but sometimes, like, maybe rolls and rotation will be the icing on the cake to, you know, truly get this stuff to all come together. Because really what the issue is, we're out of boost and we're out of position for just about every play. And I hate to be harsh like that, but it, like, if you don't think this is out of position, I want to train it in your brain that you're out of position. So you were first, you transitioned the ball, your second man followed you up. Beautiful. That's what we're talking about. You were first, now you're third. Rotate back. You are third. You are third. Yet we're not playing a third goal line, back post, backboard, or back in the corner. We're playing a third in a second man position, right? In a midfield position. And this is why we're out of position. And you're not always going to get punished for mistakes like this. But it's leading into an overall loss of impact on the field. And again, I'm just going to say it because I'm going to get people. I'll probably put this on YouTube. I'm going to get people saying, oh, like, what about cut rotation? What about this? What about that? This is foundational rotation in the Diamond 3 Champ 1. You cannot cut. You cannot build on redirects and team plays until you understand foundational roles on the field. Okay. But overall, it's not bad. Just very clear cut what the issue was.